I recently coached a startup who had big issues with their no-code application. One of the functions was taking 17 seconds to display something. No need to say that it is impossible to build a business out of it. And in this episode, we are going to explain why this is happening and what solution can we provide to this type of bug, other than just rebuilding the entire app with code. Hi, I'm Amaury, founder and CEO at MyCTO, where founders come to learn how to build their tech startup. And with this startup snack series available on both podcast and YouTube, we want to share the essential to make it easier for you to build your tech startup. Recently, I got two founders of a legal tech who asked me to help them to find a solution for their platform, which has had some very slow pages, more than 17 seconds for some of them. This initial app has been built upon Bubble, which is a very known no-code technology and pretty good, but sometimes it's not good enough and sometimes these type of issues happen. So does this happen because of no-code? Well, yes and no. Let me explain. The thing is that no-code has some limitation. Not necessarily limitation in terms of features, but in the way we build thing. With real code, we could write an optimized algorithm to get exactly the expected result. While sometimes with no code, we have to find workaround to get the result we want, and often these workaround consumes a lot of energy and CPU, which means that it takes a lot of time. And when we are in production with thousands of users and real data in the database, that's when the problems arise. So if that happened to you one day, here are the three solutions that you and your provider can explore. The first and easy solution is to limit the amount of data that you're going to load on a screen. So basically use pagination. You can display only 1 week at a time or 1 page at a time on your search result. Most of the time, if there are some performance issues, this is because we load too many information, and for each information, we again load too many informations, which is not something that could happen in real code, but with no code, it can be like infinite loops that can load too much information and memories. So just limit the amount of data that you load on the screen. Next, if it's not enough, you can work with front-end code. So basically, we're gonna ask to the no-code application to load the data, and then instead of displaying the data and shaping it with the no-code, we can go through and parse the data with real code, with JavaScript, and in that case, it can improve the way we display things, and we can be able to do some stuff that would be very hard to do with only no-code technology. And if this is still not enough, then here are the best solution for real big performance issue. It's to externalize what is too complicated for the no-code. I did that for another startup that I work with. They built a marketplace with countless matching criteria. So basically a search engine, very complex, pretty much like what we have on Airbnb. And very early in the process, we were stuck with Bubble. Basically the matching things was taking like pretty much 1 minute long just to display the first match. Obviously, no codes are not designed to create complex algorithms. So what we did is that we hired a real developer, asking him to develop a tiny piece of code, which we called a microservice, where we basically replicated the user informations upon changes. So every time someone modified their profile, then it changed their profile on the replication. And then we have on one side the no-code data for the users, and on the other side the real code data with a real performance database. And every time someone performs a search on the application, the no-code application delegates the search to the microservice, and the microservice reply in an instant, like less than 100 milliseconds just to reply, problem solved. So what's important to remember is that there is a huge difference between no-code and code application. The speed difference can be between 1,000 to 1 million times more calculation necessary on the no code. So for most of basic things like displaying screen, etc., it's okay. But for real algorithm, it can be a bottleneck on the no code application. And in that case, what is important to remember is that basically no code is designed for no coder. Basically people who have no idea of the performance side of an algorithm compared to another. While on the other side, there are many good developers that don't really know how NoCode works. That's basically two different worlds that are not very easy to make them work together. But if you are a startup, that's by combining both that we can make great things. And that's how we can also remove the limitations of no-code application. So what is easy enough to do with no-code, we do it with no-code. What is too complicated, we do it with code. That's actually quite simple and a pretty good strategy, especially on the beginning of a startup product. That way, with low budget, we can create features that would take much more energy and money to build. So I hope this topic helped you. If you have any question or want to suggest another topic, feel free to drop us a comment on YouTube or on Instagram. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. See you next time.